Well, it's been a very interesting week in the indie video game developer world as more and more people decide that the best place to share information about things that have happened in their life is on Twitter. And as of yesterday or this morning, Night in the Woods Studios cuts ties with designer after Zoe Quinn tweeted about him. Now, these were just fiction. This is, as far as I'm concerned, they are statements of fiction made on Twitter until backed up with any type of evidence or going through any normal kind of procedure that a normal person would do. I don't know what it is about the indie video game development world, but I can tell you this. By the way, some indie video game developers have emailed me and said that, yes, it's just as bad as you think, but hashtag not all. And of course, that's true. But here we go again. Video games and I would say movies, cinema, Hollywood, these are the two biggest areas where essentially somebody can make up a completely unfounded statement about you and it will essentially ruin your life. Night in the Woods studio cuts ties with designer again after allegations, not after any evidence. Night in the Woods designer and Infinite Ammo co-founder Alec Halowaka, I don't know how to say it, sorry, was basically, there was a work of fiction, as far as I'm concerned, put out by Zoe Quinn. Now they have fired him. Wednesday, the developer behind Night in the Woods said that they were cutting ties and canceling an in-development project, among other changes at the studio. He was critically acclaimed for his work on Night in the Woods, which was released in 2017. He coded, co-designed, and composed music for the game with Bethany Hockenberry and Scott Benson, and Night in the Woods was published by Finji. The narrative-driven adventure game is beloved for its nuanced depiction of mental health. Shocking. Night of the Woods developer Scott Benson acknowledged the story on Twitter. We believe Zoe's account of Alex's actions. We are very sad and very angry, he wrote. In a follow-up, he said that steps are being taken. Again, this is frustrating, and I hope that you'll consider liking, commenting, and sharing on this video because it'd be helpful if more people understood that at a time like right now, where everyone was sure that that video gamer who is a professional named Jared was guilty of what people said he was. When everyone was sure that Andy Signor did the things people said he did. Only to find out months later that they were completely innocent. People were sure the Nerdist founder, host of one of the most popular shows on AMC, Talking Dead, that immediately followed Walking Dead, when everyone believed when his ex posted some crazy things about him on the internet, and those turn out to be false. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't instances that are true. I'm not even saying that what Zoe said about Alec isn't true. I can't know that. But I believe it's extraordinarily irresponsible, and it opens you up to enormous amounts of warranted criticism when the first thing you do is post about it on Twitter publicly. Mind you, many years later. Just like as was the case when we're talking about a different person, in this example, Jeremy Soule, 10 years. Somebody recounting something that happened November 4th, 2008. They used very strong language about this person that worked on the Elder Scrolls. Why is the internet the first place that you share this? I just question your motives. On Wednesday, Ben took to the Night in the Woods Twitter account to offer an extended statement. This week, statements have been made about Alec, who was a coder, composer, and co-designer on Night in the Woods. We take such allegations seriously. As a result, after some agonizing consideration, we are cutting ties. So it only takes somebody to get a few retweets, by the way, a few retweets from Zoe Quinn to lose your job. And I feel like, you know, does anybody not remember when certain statements were also made about Miss Quinn? I remember. In fact, they are immortalized on the interwebs. Hold on just one second. Let me open this up because I want to show you just one little thing. Just, you know, it's funny that nobody talks about this. It's funny to me anyway. It's curious to me. Save image. Let's do this. Yes, let's replace it. Let's open it. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Boppity boopy, boopity boppy. All right. So, if we can see, there was some initial buildup by Wolf Wozniak. But if I call this person, I'm likely to have stressful rest of the day and be shouted at and accused of creating things on the spot. I never ever wanted to do this to somebody in the public square like almost everyone else does in these situations. Maybe I talk to them directly. Here is the buildup, then the reveal. Zoe Quinn did bad things to me at a friend's wedding in early March. I didn't think anything of the time. Then, of course, universally hated designer Phil Fish says, "You're no friend of mine. You crashed that wedding. Nobody invited you. Nobody wanted you there." Okay, great. So what does that have to do with anything? I should have waited and asked for advice before announcing it. You know, so he ends up getting shouted down. But these are claims made about Zoe Quinn that never really got any legs. Now, again, just because I strongly dislike this person's opinions doesn't mean I just accept everything at face value and that man's statements should be scrutinized as well. But in the video game world, the court of public opinion is all that matters. And you see people, here's Returnia. We have terminated our working relationship with Jeremy Soule. We are no longer involved in any aspect of the Northerner. Let me get this straight. While her story fits the profile and sounds somewhat plausible, that's not guilt, and it seems that you've canceled a man based on unproven accusations. Why? Well, maybe because people like Adrian Hahn, by the way, blue checkmark on Twitter, says, innocent until proven guilty in a court is at best childishly naive and at worst dangerously obtuse when it comes to this type of thing. I fully believe against game developers like Alexis. By the way, Alexis has completely denied this. Everybody. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm blocked by this person after poking fun at their Indie Game Award, which nobody really cares about. But here we have Meg Janth, known as Better at the Mask. An anon account has been naming bad people in the games industry. Alexis Kennedy is one of them. I can't speak to the motives, but Alexis is a well-known, I like how they use the word predator, in the video games industry. I've been warning people about him for years. Okay, why didn't you do anything about it? Why did you wait until you could get some clout from it? Here's Alexis himself. I deny this. I've had a small number of fully consensual relationships with other people in the industry. Everything else here is a malicious misrepresentation. I have taken legal advice and I'm making a police complaint about what seems to be a campaign of harassment. I love it, dude. Stand up for yourself. Stand up. When I asked you about this, you made exactly one allegation which I denied, that my current fiance remained my direct report at a previous employer after she and I had begun a relationship. That wasn't true or relevant. I have never heard anything else specific. This is what these people do. Here's Time's Up getting involved. Several high-profile game developers publicly in trouble. The stories we're hearing from women in the video games are disturbing and unconscionable. This should be a moment of reckoning for the industry. Again, we're talking about 3 or 4 people. We're talking about literally nothing that's been proven. We're talking about some Twitter retweets. That isn't evidence. That isn't anything of value. Why are people continuing to jump on this? I think it's fine to cover it, but you get to see here industry brainlet Steve Lumpkin from Guerrilla Studios donating money to this organization. Isn't it curious that everybody's perking up to collect money? What a coincidence. People like Anita Sarkeesian jumping on the bandwagon. Let's pull up her. I wonder if she's talking about this. What do you think? Do you think that she would have missed an Oh, here we go. Video games is having their movement. The toxicity from fans has been well documented from years, but the toxic predatory behavior between video game developers have been mostly been spoken in whispers between trusted friends. I'm in awe of the bravery of those who have spoken up. All that's missing is a link to her Patreon. And of course, she's been tweeting about it endlessly. And of course, it's all about money. It's all about money. It's all about clout, in my opinion. Isn't it curious that a time in which Zoe Quinn has publicly admitted she is out of money, when she has accepted $85,000 for her Kickstarter for a game that she has never delivered and has zero signs of delivering? Isn't it curious? It's just curious. I'm not saying I know for a fact. I'm just saying, what a coincidence that this person is apparently flat broke and decides to share these claims publicly. What a coincidence. And all the men named in these have been completely disavowed by the video games industry. On Wednesday, so we talked about that. Polygon reached out to him for a comment via email and will respond if he responds. Quinn said they came forward about this behavior. This is Zoe, of course, because Natalie Lawhead wrote about her situation with an Elder Scrolls composer, Jeremy Soule. Soule told Kotaku the 11-year-old allegations are false. Polygon has also reached out to Soule for his agency for comment. You know how this happens. See, you get an email and you say, hey, we're a big media website. Would you like to comment on this alleged bad behavior of your video game developer? And that's enough to get people canceled in and of itself. Now, I can't say for a fact that people like Polygon and Kotaku want this to happen when they reach out for a statement, but I can say that when Polygon and Kotaku and other video game websites write to people's bosses and funding agencies, people get alarmed and they react a certain way. Following Quinn's Twitter post, they said they had I like how they use they. They said they've received messages from other people hurt. Quinn continued, I had no idea it was so bad. Well, here's the thing. The video game developing, specifically the indie video game scene, seems to be full of some of the worst humans on the planet. And it's so funny how it's just they're eating each other. Everyone's so progressive. Everyone's like, believe women, until something like this happens to them. Just ask Andy Signore or Chris Hardwick how they felt being on the other side of what their own friends, their own ideological allies are doing to people for internet clout. It is my absolute 100% belief that if the first thing you do is talk about things on Twitter, it's about clout. You will not convince me of anything otherwise, because I cannot see any reasonable reason for you to talk about 10-year-old things that happened in the video game industry on Twitter, having never made a statement about it anywhere else. If you needed to get it out there, why wouldn't you leak it anonymously? Why wouldn't you make a statement, a formal statement? Why wouldn't you, I don't know, sue the guy or gal? It's just curious to me. And next week is going to be even more interesting, as I'm sure the full-on grifters will be working overtime to maximize profit based on the downfall of more men in the video game industry. Hashtag believe all women. This will be fun to watch. But remember, please, fans of video games, fans of movies, I must implore you, it doesn't matter what you think about somebody. Maybe what they're saying is true. Maybe it isn't true. But just because you like them or dislike them does not change that fact. And all these brave people retweeting and standing up in the video game industry saying, hashtag I believe, you're not doing any good. You're dogpiling. You're trying to cancel somebody so that you yourself can get more retweets. You are not bold. You are not a hero. You are part of the problem. And I hope viewers who are watching this will take that to heart and consider sharing this video out too. Just kidding. I mean, yeah, share this video. Obviously, I need clout. Just reserve judgment. That's all I'm asking. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon. Hey, if you're still hanging out, there's a subscribe button right on the screen right now. Make sure to click that, turn notifications on. And if you want to see the next video, that should also be hovering around the screen. Thanks so much for watching this and for supporting the channel. What are you waiting for? Subscribe and, you know, turn on notifications and like the video.